Good evening and welcome to our telecast of Just the News, where we tell you everything that's happened in the country in just about 10 minutes. Of course, there's no opinion included in this bulletin. It's just the information. Let's get straight to it. Just hours after the poll results were announced in West Bengal on the 2nd of May, political violence erupted across the state that left at least 8 people reportedly killed. This is according to the Indian Express. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi today dialed Governor Jagdeep Dhankar and expressed serious anguish and concern over the worrisome law and order situation in the state. This is according to a tweet uploaded by Mr. Dhankar, who also said he shares the grave concerns of the Prime Minister given the violence, vandalism, arson, loot and killings have continued unabated. He said the concerned must act in overdrive to restore order. End quote. The BJP has claimed that out of the 8 people who died, 6 were BJP workers. The party has accused the TMC of carrying out the attacks. The BJP office in Nandigram, where Suvendu Adhikari defeated Mamata Banerjee, was allegedly attacked, as was Suvendu Adhikari's car. The Indian Secular Front, which is an ally of the Congress Left Alliance, also claimed that one of its workers were killed. The TMC has refuted these allegations and said that one of its own workers has also been killed. The Union Home Ministry has asked the state government for a report on the post-election violence targeting opposition political workers in the state. The BJP has also announced a nationwide dharna on the 5th of May for the alleged attacks, which coincides with Mamata Banerjee's swearing-in ceremony. Now, Mamata Banerjee has made a statement, and I quote this statement. It said, "We know the BJP and central forces have tortured people, but even then I urged everyone to maintain peace and not resort to violence. If there are any allegations, approach the police. Till we take oath, law and order is not in our hands. Despite its defeat, the BJP is torturing people." A team of the National Commission of Women, headed by its chairperson Rekha Sharma, will visit West Bengal to investigate attacks on women during this violence. BJP spokesperson and senior advocate Gaurav Bhatia has also filed a petition with the Supreme Court seeking a CBI investigation into rampant post-poll violence in West Bengal. BJP National President JP Nadda has arrived in Kolkata on Tuesday and is expected to meet party workers who suffered during those attacks. Meanwhile, Indic Collective Trust has moved Supreme Court seeking President's rule in West Bengal. The plea also seeks directions to the central government to deploy central protection forces, including armed forces, to restore law and order in Bengal. Moving on now to COVID information. India reported 3,57,000 new cases and 3,449 deaths in the last 24 hours. With this, India has now crossed the 2 crore mark of COVID cases till date in the entire pandemic. What must be noted though is that while our first case was detected in January last year, we crossed 1 crore cases in December last year. So it took an entire year of 12 months. But the second 1 crore, from 1 crore to 2 crores, took about 5 months, which means it's spreading much faster this time around than it did last time. Maharashtra remains the worst affected state with 48,000 cases in the last 24 hours, followed by Karnataka and Kerala. Lots of reactions from courts across the country, starting with Delhi High Court. The Delhi High Court today pulled up the central government for failing to comply with the Supreme Court order directing the central government to supply 700 metric tons of oxygen to the Delhi government before midnight on the 3rd of May. The court issued a show cause notice to the central government as to why contempt action should not be taken in this case. The additional Solicitor General, Chetan Sharma, representing the Government of India, agreed that this is a grave matter, but he said he has not received any instruction on this moment on that matter, and a report will be filed before the Supreme Court by the central government. The judges say, what you are saying is because the Delhi government didn't raise the demand, people should be allowed to die. Is this what it has come to? You want to quibble while people are losing their lives. Just like the Supreme Court passed an order, we too pass an order. Contempt may be the last thing, but it's very much there. Enough is enough. We mean business, the bench remarked. The Gujarat High Court said that it was pained that the orders passed by the court was completely ignored by the state government. The court has asked the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation to come up with an online dashboard providing real-time updates on availabilities of beds in different hospitals. The court said, and I quote, "We are very pained that the state's approach and the corporation's approach, orders passed by this court, were completely ignored. For the last 3 orders, we've been mentioning the issue of real-time updates, but till today, nothing has been done by the state or by the corporation," end quote. The Patna High Court today pulled up the Bihar government for its handling of the COVID crisis, but did not pass any order after it was told midway during the hearing that the state government has announced a lockdown till the 15th of May. The judges, however, made it clear that they will pass appropriate orders on Thursday. They said, and I quote, "The court will fail its duty if necessary orders are not passed in the larger public interest to ensure right to life of the people in the state," the bench said. The court expressed disappointment in the state government for not doing enough when the hearing started at 11 a.m. today, and observed that the court could not go on waiting while people's lives are being put at risk. The court said, and I quote again, "We have failed. All of us feel ashamed in what we have done. Don't make a joke of the proceedings. We cannot wait. We cannot play with people's lives. You may. It is an observation on us that we have failed, and this has happened only because we depended on state officials and false assurances given by state officials," end quote. A disclaimer and a trigger warning to our audience: the next few stories are distressing. 8 COVID patients in Andhra Pradesh's Hindupur district hospital died allegedly due to the lack of oxygen. Health department officials, though, have denied the allegations and said there was enough and adequate oxygen supply at the hospital. According to a report in the New Indian Express, attendants and family members who were looking after patients noticed the drop in oxygen and alerted the hospital staff, but they claimed that the authorities were indifferent to their pleas. The caretakers then rushed to the beds of their loved ones with oxygen cylinders that were kept on standby on the hospital premises, but 8 patients passed away. The Hindupur District Hospital Superintendent admitted to the media that there was a shortage of oxygen supply for a brief period on Monday morning, but claimed that the supply was restored instantly and the patients who died were already in serious condition. A similar incident happened on the 1st of May, where 11 COVID-19 patients died in the same district at the Anantapur Government General Hospital. While relatives alleged that it was the shortage of oxygen that caused the deaths, officials denied the allegations and said the patients died because of complications caused by COVID-19. The Karnataka State High Court on Tuesday, that's today, said a judicial inquiry will be conducted into the deaths of patients who lost their lives in the Chamarajnagara district of Karnataka after alleged lack of oxygen supply. The court was hearing a case registered suo motu after it received 2 letters about the poor health facilities. In its order, the bench of Chief Justice Abhay Oka and Justice Arvind Kumar recorded that the Chamarajnagara incident is a serious issue. Around 24 people have died. We suggest that a judicial inquiry into the incident led by a retired judge of the High Court be conducted. Remember, at least 23 lives were lost in a COVID treatment facility in Chamarajnagara 24 hours from Sunday morning, while the district deputy commissioner told media outlets that the deaths were not because of oxygen supply. The loved ones of the deceased disagreed with him. The Central Public Works Department of the Government of India has informed a government-appointed expert panel that the construction of the Prime Minister's new residence, which is part of the Central Vista project, will be completed by December next year. The Vice President's house is expected to be completed by May next year. The project cost of these 2 new buildings will be 13,450 crore rupees, and the plan is expected to employ 46,000 people. Now, remember, the construction on these projects continue in order to meet these deadlines and have been given essential services clearance during the lockdown in Delhi. A petition has been filed before the Delhi High Court seeking the suspension of construction activity at the Central Vista project. Now, the plea basically says that the construction of the project cannot be equated to an essential activity. There is no urgency whatsoever for the construction of this project, and there's no reason why the same cannot be suspended at a time when Delhi is facing an unprecedented health crisis. The plea basically said that this could be another super spreader because of the number of people involved in the construction. AIIMS Director Dr. Randeep Guleria has warned against repeated CT scans in mild COVID cases. He has said it can end up doing more harm than good because of the side effects. He mentioned that people are opting for CT scans the moment they test positive for COVID. He said one CT scan is equivalent to 300 or 400 chest x-rays. According to data, repeated CT scans of younger people will increase the risk of cancer later in life. Exposing yourself to radiation again and again may cause damage. There is no point of doing a CT scan for mild COVID if the oxygen saturation is normal. Remember, oxygen saturation of 95 and higher is normal. Anything below 95, you should seek medical advice. Delhi Chief Minister has announced a free ration for Delhi for the next 2 months. In a press statement, he has said that all ration card holders of around 72 lakh in number, will be given free ration for the next 2 months. This doesn't mean that the lockdown will continue for 2 months. This is being done to help the poor who are going through financial issues, end quote. All auto rickshaw drivers and taxi drivers in Delhi will also receive financial assistance of 5,000 rupees each. Construction workers will be given 5,000 rupees as well. Some restrictions that have been announced by state governments today. Bihar has announced a lockdown until the 15th of May. This comes after, like I told you, the Patna High Court told the Bihar government that a lockdown needs to be enforced or the court will order it themselves. Bihar has reported 11,000 cases and 82 deaths in the last 24 hours. Tamil Nadu has announced fresh restrictions in the state which will be enforced from the 6th of May till the 20th of May. Metro trains, private government buses and taxis will only run with 50% capacity. Grocery shops will function until noon and all political and cultural gatherings have been banned. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the UK, has said the Serum Institute of India is set to invest in facilities in the UK and could even manufacture vaccines in the UK in the future. Boris Johnson's Downing Street office said that £240 million, which translates to 2,455 crore rupees, will be invested by the Serum Institute in a sales office in the UK, which will conduct clinical trials, research and development, and possibly in the future manufacture vaccines as well. The Serum Institute has also begun phase 1 trials of its one-dose nasal vaccine in the UK. Covovax, which is the second vaccine that Serum Institute of India is working on, is likely to go into phase 3 trials by mid-May in India. The Data Safety Monitoring Board has reviewed the initial safety data of 200 participants in the phase 2 trials and has given its recommendation. The Drugs Controller General of India has also given a go-ahead for the phase 3 trials. Earlier, Adar Poonawalla had tweeted that they hope to launch Covovax by September this year. The Air India employees have threatened to stop working if pan-India vaccination drives are not set up for all flying crew. The Air India Pilot Union and the Indian Commercial Pilots Union has written a letter to the Union Minister of Aviation, Hardeep Singh Puri, seeking to restore their pre-COVID monthly pay. The association has said that they're facing pay cuts while they're undertaking the longest, most challenging, most diverse missions under the Vande Bharat scheme. And they said that pilots have not been categorized as frontline workers despite being on the front line since day one. The letter basically read, and I quote, "The number of passengers and crew testing positive for COVID-19 has increased fourfold, and consequently, the rate of infections has shot up drastically for Air India pilots and also for our family members. It is already an uphill task to arrange timely medical support like hospital beds and oxygen cylinders for our increasing numbers, and now the situation is becoming chaotic. Ironically, we were the first to get a pay cut, we were the last to be considered for vaccination." In Hyderabad, for the first time, and this is an odd story, for the first time, 8 Asiatic lions at Hyderabad's Zoological Park have tested positive for COVID. According to a report in The Hindu, the Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology informed forest officials that RT-PCR tests on these lions were positive. Now, the CCMB will carry out a detailed investigation on the samples for genome sequencing to find out if the strain came from human beings or not. This comes after caretakers noticed on the 24th of April that the lions developed symptoms of dry cough, nasal discharge, loss of appetite, and they alerted the veterinary team. It's interesting, of course, to appreciate those caretakers who collected the nasal swabs for these RT-PCR tests. In other news coming in from across the country, the Supreme Court has ruled that schools demanding fees for facilities and activities not used by students during the lockdown amounts to profiteering and commercialization of education. The court noted that classes have been held online now for an entire academic year, and schools must have saved about 15% of overheads and operational costs. It said, and I quote, "It is for school management to reschedule the payment of school fees in such a way that not a single student is left out of or denied the opportunity of an education, given the adage, live and let live." There have been several reports which the court was reacting to of educational institutions increasing their fees during lockdown when the country was facing, obviously, economic pressures. After all of this, teachers have also faced pay cuts, and the management of educational institutions have said that children may not be allowed to appear for exams if their fees were not paid on time. Looking at news coming in right now from the world of business, the Finance Ministry has announced that COVID relief material that's coming in from overseas, which is vaccines, medical oxygen, remdesivir, will get a conditional or an ad hoc GST exemption until the 30th of June. But there's a condition, like I said. The relaxation is only available on material that is received by India free of cost from overseas as aid. The ministry officials clarified that the GST exemption will not be applicable for domestic companies or charities that are importing the items that they have bought or they have paid for. They will still have to pay GST. Paytm founder Vijay Shekhar Sharma has said that Paytm will set up oxygen plants in 12 to 13 cities. The oxygen plants will be directly installed in hospitals, which would serve the oxygen needs of the entire hospital. Paytm Foundation has also sourced 21,000 oxygen concentrators that will be sent to government hospitals, COVID care facilities, private hospitals, and nursing homes, as well as resident welfare associations by the mid of May. Looking at news coming in right now from around the world, Denmark has removed Johnson & Johnson's single-dose COVID vaccine from its vaccination program following reports that it's causing rare but potentially serious blood clots. Denmark will now continue Pfizer and Moderna vaccinations. It has already vaccinated 11% of its population. It was also, remember, the first European country to suspend the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine because of similar issues. Looking at news coming in now from the world of sports, the Indian Premier League, the Governing Council and the Board of Cricket Control of India has had an emergency meeting today and unanimously decided to suspend or postpone IPL 2021 season with immediate effect. Of course, the official website says it has been postponed. We don't know details of until when, but the release or the statement that the Vice President of the BCCI made to ANI this morning said it has been suspended. This comes after players from KKR, CSK, Sunrisers Hyderabad and Delhi Capitals recently tested positive for COVID. And one piece of positive information to leave you today: with an aim to vaccinate specially abled people above the age of 45 and senior citizens, 2 drive-in vaccination centers have been opened across the country, one in Mumbai's Dadar and the other one in Bhopal's Ashoka Hotel. The Mumbai facility had a capacity to vaccinate 5,000 beneficiaries per day across 7 booths. 2 of these booths were reserved for drive-ins. However, this morning there were huge crowds and very long lines reported from the Dadar facility. That brings us to the end of the news today. Remember, source articles of the information is in the description of our YouTube video. Do subscribe to our YouTube video and share the news as you've heard it with anyone you feel might find it useful. Stay safe and stay at home. Thank you for watching.